find a quiet place. So this is Commonplace Binder 101, Moments of Commonplace Flow. We're going to try to, no. There's no way to flow through this conversation because it's just me. I don't know what to say. So I'm going to set this down. That was my Commonplace book. I consider it a Commonplace binder because it's in a binder. But at first, it was basically just a brain dump. So what is a brain dump? It's basically where you just grab your thoughts, dump them on the page. And then you have another page, and you do that again, and again, and again, and again. Might be more complicated than that. I haven't looked up all the technical definitions, which is a huge problem when I'm presenting videos. But yeah, basically, you get a binder, toss some thoughts in it, and then organize them later. Add or subtract. So some people find it a lot easier to generate new content, and other people find it very easy to look at something and think, a lot of this sucks, I'm going to trim it down. So I used to be very good at the subtraction element, but now I'm a lot better at the addition, which is very annoying because, now we have generative AI and all that other stuff, which is basically just designed to push the stuff out. And so it would be good if I was still good at the subtraction element. But I don't actually use AI tools. I do play around a lot with the Commonplace book, Commonplace binder concept. So I have, 100 videos for the 101 playlist. It's more of a 101. So you need food. Why am I struggling to figure out what the heck is happening here? Because I'm hungry. So go eat, you say. Well, it's not always that easy, and it might not be easy for me, but it's also very difficult for a lot of people. So if someone can't afford food, they probably can't afford a Commonplace book, Commonplace binder, or whatever other thing they want to work with. Maybe they can, because sometimes the prices of things sorry, I hope you didn't hear that noise. Sometimes the prices of things change or fluctuate, and it can be super random, because someone will have a car, a house, and a phone, but they won't have food. So it all depends on how the systems work together. But yeah, brief. Gotta make this one brief. The last video, I think, was 18 minutes or something. So Moments of Commonplace Flow, you're mostly just chilling and relaxing and finding a quiet place. I was really struggling with this earlier today. Somebody was yelling at me because they were talking about a person that I was supposed to contact, and they wouldn't give me the person's contact information. It's I kind of need that to contact the person. And then they yelled at me. So when that sort of thing happens, people will have a quiet place, but they'll get to the quiet place and they can't get it out of their head because they're like, what was that? What was that? And so sometimes they'll just dump their thoughts on the page because they're like, I don't know what that was, gotta get that out of here. So in that case, they would be adding. They probably need to eat some food to calm down and do something else. So after having food, you can have enjoyable sorting. And so what does that mean? Well, we've got all these thoughts here. And so it can be kind of fun to sort them. You can be like, well, this is future, and this is gaming, and this is personal, and this is forest, and this is school. And you can just break it down, which is kind of nice because it's grouping related ideas without actually having to come up with the ideas or any of the other things because the ideas are already there because you had them, you wrote them down, and they're there. And so hopefully that was brief enough for that. Might not happen. So you might not get a quiet place. It might be you're working all day every day, or maybe there are kids around and the kids are knocking on your door being like, why is there water in the freezer? And it's did you leave the freezer open? Oh man. So yeah, it might not happen. I hope it does. I hope you can have your quiet place and you can get into some sort of flow state and nobody bothers you and it's going to be quite nice. And there's no time commitment needed, except there is, obviously. You will need at least 5 minutes if you're going to get into a flow state. Maybe you could do it in 5 seconds. That sounds made up. I've definitely gotten into a situation like that within 5 minutes before. maybe within 5 minutes, but I think there was like nobody home and I hadn't talked to anybody in like 2 days. And so like there were no problems. I had all the food I needed. I had the shower and laundry, and every other situation was dealt with. And so then I was just chilling. There was no time commitment, nowhere to be, no notifications. That was wonderful. But yeah, if you can't find that space, or if that space isn't provided to you, you might feel like your hopes and dreams are a little squashed. Maybe there's a little bout of depression. How do you feel about these 3 letters being huge? For some reason, the DE is reminding me of German and Germany. I'm thinking like, Deutsch? What is that? No, I was gonna make it big, and then I didn't realize how long the word was. I don't really write depression very often. I'm normally chatting with people, so make sure to chat with people, especially if you're sad. It is kind of like a little bit of a flex, like, could a depressed person do this? And you just smile and wave. So yeah, make sure to chat with people before and after. Not during, though, probably. If you're just doing your own thing, that would be a little distracting. But maybe it'd be helpful. I have some friends who get through or got through their homework, mostly because they're on a call with somebody. So, reviewing old work. Why are we reviewing old work? Because we just dumped our thoughts all over the page, and then we sorted them. And so after we sorted them, we need to review the old work, because otherwise we had the thought, we put it on paper, we sorted it to a place, and then we never did anything with it. Do something with your stuff. But I don't know. Hearing it like that is making it feel like work. I have feeling like work written here, but I can't figure out how to get feeling like work into a sentence. That's really weird. Feeling like working, I don't know. That feels a little forced. And you don't necessarily want to force this. That's not really how you're going to get into the flow. Maybe it is. If you're constantly in situations where you need to force things, maybe forcing things is how you're actually going to get into the flow state. But that sounds a little upsetting, and it sounds like something that only works because someone's been in a very stressful situation for like, at least 5 years. And they're like, the only way I get anything done is when I'm really stressed. It's like, well, that's not good, buddy. But yeah, record the start. So how do you record the start? Do you use your phone? Maybe you just write it down. Like, you don't necessarily have to make it super complicated. You could just be like, yeah, I'm starting on, I don't know, February 27th or whatever day it is today. 2025. Remember to always include the date, especially the year. If you don't include the month, that's probably going to be a problem. If you don't include the day, that will be detrimental, but like, it's probably fine. Unless you're doing something like looking through medical records or writing down your own medical records, like, today I took this dose and I had these effects. Like, in that case, you probably need to write down the date. Maybe even the time. But for most things where you're thinking about like squirrels and like what would happen on a planet overrun with squirrels, it's like, okay, well that goes over into like a journal or something like that. That has nothing to do with anything. And so you probably need the year for that and the month for that, and then a category for that, because that way you'll be able to find it later. And like that doesn't sound like something super relevant unless you're making a movie on squirrels. Where are we? We did record the start. Running out of time. I'm running out of time to figure out where the heck I was. So, are you running out of time for Commonplace Flow? Well, if you had 20 minutes after school and you chose to watch this video during that time frame, you are kind of running out of time because we're coming up on the 10-minute mark. So, are you running out of time to make a Commonplace book or a Commonplace binder? No. I mean, unless you're like 80 plus, in which case, well, I don't want to stress anybody out, but like you are probably a little bit shorter on time than the average person. The heck was that? Sounds like somebody just dropped something in the hallway. Share. Did I really need to share that? No, not really. But if it makes it into the video, then it's it's probably good to explain. So, definitely goes back to the beginning here. But we're going to go on to this. So, see you. Where can you see more of yourself? Well, in your own records. It feels like somebody's just standing out there. I can't see them. That's an important part of this. You want to write your stuff down so you can see older versions of yourself at a future date, which might be today. Like if you wrote something down yesterday, you can see what you were doing. Headset music. I do not have music playing, although I think I forgot to turn off the headset. There's a light that shows if it's on or not. I think it's back here though, so no way to tell. So normally what I'll do is I will listen to music on the computer and I'll have the headset on, and it's wireless because that way I can walk around, which is quite fun. So days in my life. So maybe there's some days in your life which are easier to get into flow with. So I personally prefer Wednesday for just chilling because it's in the middle of the week. So, you know, if it's like Monday or Friday, I forgot this might be reversed because I'm recording. But the point is, at the beginning of the week, people normally tell me it's the beginning of the week. And then at the end of the week, they'll normally tell me it's the end of the week. So when is the middle of the week? Well, I remember that one day, and then I can remember everything else because of the way that everybody else will act on all the other days. So reduce your tasks. So you don't necessarily need to remember when Thursday is if you remember when Wednesday is, because it's the day after Wednesday. So that's quite easy. You could reduce your tasks by putting them in a Commonplace book, but you don't necessarily need to do that. So remember, a Commonplace book is the common place where you put all your things that you don't have a specific place for. So some people will put quotes from books or movies or TV shows or maybe their friend. But then normally what they do is they write something about that afterwards, because otherwise this would basically just be like copy pasting things into a document, which I guess you could do, but that would be kind of weird and you wouldn't be adding anything to it, so some people might get upset about that. And it is very different than just journaling, because, you know, it's just your stuff, it's nobody else's stuff. So flip through. I think this was like the last thing for the previous video as well. So I guess I can flip through a tiny bit, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show this is the content section, so everything listed here, most of the things on the first page are crossed out, but then we've got a second page. So basically, the first thing here is 1 March 2024 ideas. It says 1 because sometimes I have 2 documents of the same name. It doesn't normally happen, but you know, it's like a 100 chance, but just in case it does happen, I leave that there. And so this up here says March 2024 ideas, just like this. And so if we turn to this, we can see that this has a cover page instead of just a page about the subject, and it says what the title is. And so that's basically how the binder works. So that wasn't much of a flip through. I guess I could just open and close this a whole bunch of times. That'll count, right? No. If you are looking for a flip through, you should check out one of my videos actually titled Flip Through, and in one of those videos I will probably say which flip through video to watch, or just show the actual flip through. So there will be a flip through at basically the end of this playlist. Looks like video number 98 will be the flip through. But if you don't want to wait until then, which will probably be like late December, then I guess go find one of my older videos. But that is it for today. If you want to watch the next video that's related to revisiting new ideas, and my monitor just turned off, so it's time to go. See ya.